Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'd like to talk about a subject which I see many of gamers nowadays are talking about through social media and YouTube, and that's the price of video games. And you know, these games can range from anything from $70 to over $100 a game. And I know I hear a lot of gamers out there are having the recent conversations over the Nintendo Switch 2 that is coming out. I'm pretty sure prices will vary on that as they get closer to launch time. But my main key focus of this video is not so much of how prices of video games are of today, but I want to take on a little bit of a nostalgia trip of how video games were advertised back in the day, and how prices of them was displayed from the early 90s to the early 2000s. So without no further ado, let's get right to it. So let's get right into it and look at starting off at the Super Nintendo. At the time, the console was $129. Street Fighter 2 Alpha was $70, which was, to me, I thought was way too expensive, even for back in the day. The Donkey Kong Country was $52. And you know, what I can see and what I remember as far as prices, these games also varied depending on the type of store that you went to. You know, as you see all the prices of the other games that are being displayed here. And now we're going to fast forward a little bit to the PlayStation 1 era of gaming. The PlayStation 1 console at the time was $200. Twisted Metal and the John Madden game was under $50, as you can see here. And hey guys, look at the PlayStation 1 controller, $24.99. Now, if you buy a PlayStation controller by today's standards, you will see that the PS5 DualSense controller can range from anything from $74 to over $100, which is about the same price of a single game, which I think is pretty crazy. But on that note, you know, I don't want to sound too old-fashioned, but what I can remember, you know, back in my day is taking a look at one of my favorite consoles of all time, and that was the Xbox 360 days of gaming. Now, it wasn't so much that the Xbox 360 games were affordable, because back in the day they were also considered expensive back then. But one of the main reasons of owning the Xbox 360 console for me was that the Xbox magazine catalogs that you can buy at your local store, you know, to read up on upcoming games that were coming out. They had pretty good, interesting articles that you can read up on. But for me, one of the biggest reasons of getting these magazines was the disc, and each disc had a demo of like one or two different demos you can try out as far as games. You know, you can play them before you buy them, and it was pretty cool. And the magazines, they got a little pricey too. I think they ran anything from $10 to $12 a magazine. But as far as like online purchasing, it wasn't really a big thing back then. So, you know, magazines were the only options that we had. But if you was a kid that couldn't afford the magazines, there's another option. You can always go to your local Toys R Us or your local Walmart and sample these games in the store while your parents was out shopping. But for me, it was like one of the nostalgic times, especially to be a gamer. Guys, let me know what your thoughts on today about these prices of games. Do you think that these games are becoming no more than a car payment, that are getting way too expensive? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.